When someone you trust deceives you, every instinct screams for a reaction. We want to confront them, demand answers, and lay our pain out for them to see, hoping they'll finally get the wreckage they've caused. We think the loudest response will bring us closure. But what if the most powerful, transformative, and strengthening response is the one that makes no sound at all? What if the clearest proof of your strength is complete silence? This isn't about suppression or pretending the hurt doesn't exist. It's about a deep and strategic shift in power. When you're betrayed, choosing silence isn't weakness. It's a strategic withdrawal that starts a profound inner transformation from pain to power. It's the moment you stop handing your emotional well-being to the person who broke it and start forging it yourself, from the inside out. This is the habit of the silent, a sovereign withdrawal that prioritizes self-respect, healing, and reclaiming your own inner territory. It's a journey rooted in ancient wisdom, particularly Stoic philosophy, which teaches that true power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Imagine for a moment, someone you trusted looks you in the eye and lies. After the shock wears off, your mind races, desperately trying to find the right words to make them understand the pain they've caused. But here's the truth no one tells you. The more you explain your pain to someone who already chose to hurt you, the less they value your words. The biggest mistake after betrayal is believing the loudest voice holds the most power. In reality, the person who no longer needs to be heard is the one who has already won. Now let's understand the myth of the loud response and the agony of explanation. After betrayal, our minds become a storm of replays and frantic internal monologues. We draft texts we'll never send, rehearse speeches in the shower, and fantasize about a confrontation where our perfectly articulated pain finally breaks through. This deep need to explain, to be understood, is connected to a psychological idea called the Zeigarnik effect. Originally, it described how waiters better remembered unpaid orders, but the principle suggests why our minds fixate on unfinished business. Our brains are seeking closure for a messy story. But chasing closure from the person who hurt you is a trap. It keeps you tied to the source of your pain, waiting for an apology that may never come or an explanation that will never truly satisfy. You're essentially asking the arsonist to help you rebuild your home. This chase isn't just pointless, it's re-traumatizing. Every attempt to explain yourself hands your power back to the deceiver, making their understanding a requirement for your healing. You're placing your emotional state in the hands of someone who has already proven they aren't worthy of guarding it. Their dishonesty is a reflection of their character, not a comment on your worth. Psychologists note that the brain can process emotional injury using some of the same pathways involved in physical pain. Research shows an overlap in the brain regions that activate during social rejection and physical pain, like the anterior cingulate cortex and anterior insula. Your mind treats the wound as a real threat. The impulse to argue or demand justice feels like self-defense, but it often just leads to more conflict and hurt. Over time, through a process similar to avoidance learning, the nervous system can start to associate expressing feelings with risk, concluding that staying quiet hurts less. This is where choosing silence becomes a strategy. It's not about ignoring the pain, but refusing to engage in a battle you can't win, the battle for another person's conscience. The moment you stop trying to make them understand is the moment you start to understand yourself. Let's talk about reclaiming your inner territory. Silence after deception isn't passive surrender. It's an active and strategic choice, a sovereign withdrawal. It's the moment you declare your inner world a protected territory, no longer accessible to those who damaged it. This withdrawal is the first, most critical step in reclaiming your power. It's a declaration that your healing won't be held hostage by their apology, or lack thereof. As one thinker noted, silence is the moment you stop asking for permission to exist from the outside and begin reclaiming it from within. This act is fundamentally about self-respect. By refusing to engage in draining confrontations, you stop placing your value in the hands of someone who proved they couldn't honor it. The lie was their action, their choice, a stain on their character, not yours. The Stoics taught this liberating principle: you can't control the actions of others, only your response to them. By choosing silence, you're focusing on the one thing you have absolute power over: yourself. This quiet space isn't empty, it's fertile ground for healing. Emotional withdrawal, in this sense, becomes a form of self-protection, an emotional shelter where you can process pain without the constant re-traumatization of engagement. It's here that you can begin setting firm boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. You can refuse to tolerate the inner critic that asks, "Was it my fault?" Instead, you can practice self-compassion, engage in what some call mirror work, speaking lovingly to yourself to counter self-blame, and choose gratitude for the strength you're building, even in the middle of trauma. Silence creates the space to grieve what you thought was real, without letting the person who caused the loss dictate the terms of your mourning. The philosophy that gives this silent habit its backbone is Stoicism. The Stoics were masters of emotional resilience, and their teachings offer a powerful framework for navigating the pain of deception. A core Stoic principle is telling the difference between what is in our control and what is not. The betrayal was never in your control. The liar's character, their choices, their actions, those belong entirely to them. What is in your control is your judgment, your response, and the meaning you assign to the event. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." This single idea transforms silence from a passive retreat into an active construction of a better self. Instead of sinking to their level with anger and bitterness, you rise above it with quiet dignity. The goal isn't to punish them, but to become someone their actions can no longer touch. This is the essence of building your inner citadel, a fortress of peace within yourself that external events cannot breach. The Stoic response to deception needs no dramatic exit, only a calm, clear recognition. This person has shown me they do not value honesty. From this objective viewpoint, you can proceed with reason. This doesn't mean you become cold or cynical. It means you practice what the Stoics called apatheia, a state of equanimity free from destructive passions, not an absence of all feeling. You accept the reality of the situation without sugarcoating it, and then you redirect your energy. Every ounce of emotional fuel that would have been spent on arguments, obsession, or revenge is instead channeled into rebuilding your own life. The pain becomes the raw material for cultivating the four Stoic virtues: the wisdom to see the situation clearly, the courage to walk away, the justice to treat yourself with fairness, and the temperance to control your emotional reactions. While your silence is a tool for your own transformation, it can have a profound and often unsettling effect on the deceiver. This isn't the goal. Revenge is a fool's game, but it's a possible consequence. Your silence denies them the confrontation they might expect, the drama they may even crave, and the chance to manage your reaction. It leaves a void. In that void, they may be left alone with their own actions. Your silence can become a mirror, forcing them to confront their own choices without the distraction of your anger or pain. For someone who relies on controlling the narrative, this can be profoundly destabilizing. While you are using the silence to heal and build inner strength, the betrayer might experience an internal erosion of their own peace, though their reactions can vary widely. Some may feel guilt, while others rationalize their actions with little remorse. They may have expected a fight, an argument, a negotiation. They likely did not expect to be met with the quiet strength of your absence. Your refusal to participate in their drama communicates a powerful message. Your actions have made you irrelevant to my emotional world. For a person who manipulated a situation to feel powerful, there are few more disempowering outcomes. They might be left to confront their own character, alone. But again, this is merely a byproduct. The true victory is not their discomfort, but your peace. If this journey from pain to power resonates with you, and you're committed to building a life of inner strength and self-respect, subscribe to this channel. We explore the deep psychology and timeless philosophies that help you master your mind and your life. And please, share in the comments one way you have found strength in silence. Your story could be the spark that helps someone else begin their own transformation. Now here are some practical steps to harnessing the power of silence. Transforming pain into power isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a daily practice. To harness silence as a tool for strength, you need to take deliberate, actionable steps. First, try a detachment audit. Go through your life and digital spaces. Mute, archive, or delete the objects, apps, photos, or contacts that reopen the wound and pull you back into the pain loop. This isn't about erasing history but curating your present for your future. Second, start a brutal facts journal. This is a cognitive reframing exercise. Create 2 columns. In the first, write down brutal facts I accept, for example, trust is broken, or their actions showed their character. State facts without dramatic, self-pitying language. In the second column, write what I can build from this. This could be, I can build stronger boundaries, or I can learn to trust my intuition more. Third, practice mirror work. This self-compassion technique can feel awkward at first, but it's powerful. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and speak affirmations aloud. You are worthy of honesty. You are strong enough to heal. You are enough, just as you are. This practice directly counters the self-doubt that betrayal often creates. Finally, and most importantly, adopt this rule. Turn every spike of pain into one useful action. When a memory resurfaces and you feel that sting of hurt or anger, use that energy. Go for a walk, read 1 page of a book, write 1 sentence in your journal. Do one thing that serves the next, stronger version of yourself. This is how you systematically turn the poison of the past into the medicine of your future. The habit of staying silent after deception is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. It isn't about punishing the deceiver, but about protecting and rebuilding yourself. It is a conscious choice to step out of the chaotic courtroom of blame and into the quiet sanctuary of your own healing. It's a stoic act of sovereignty, a declaration that your peace is not negotiable and your self-worth is not up for debate. The pain of betrayal is immense, but it doesn't have to be the end of your story. In fact, it can become the foundation for a personal transformation you never thought possible. It forces you to build new boundaries, new standards, and a stronger, more honest relationship with yourself. You are not broken. You were genuine in a situation where another person was not. Your willingness to trust wasn't a weakness, it was a virtue they failed to honor. In the end, your silence isn't emptiness. It's the sound of your power returning. It's the sound of your heart rebuilding. And it's the sound of a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself being forged in the fires of adversity.